related videos, only on HTV.
Flossing in the morning is a really great way to keep your teeth healthy and start the day. But when you're through, here's what you do. Throw it in the trash, don't flush it. There's a problem lots of people don't know, called sanitary sewer overflow. A condition buried deep in the ground, inside a pipe where bad clogs are found. It's a problem we can all help solve, so throw it in the trash, don't flush it. Baby wipes, bandages, cotton pads, paper towels, dental floss, clog up bad. Medicines, kitty litter, cotton swabs, hair. Throw them in the trash, don't flush it. It just takes a second to do the right thing, so toss it and let's keep our pipes clean. Throw it in the trash, don't flush it. If it's not toilet paper, don't flush it. Even if it says you can, don't flush it. If you're having any doubts, don't flush it. One more time, don't flush it.
Hey everyone, did you know you could watch today's meeting live and on your smart device? Head on over to the Hillsborough County Meetings channel on the YouTube app. Click subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can be automatically notified when Hillsborough County Meetings goes live. You can also browse any of our past meetings by swiping to the left and scrolling down. All that's left to do is just to click on a video. It's that easy!
Let's all properly recycle. Let's all properly recycle. Let's all properly recycle. Leave out the plastic bags.
You may think plastic bags can be recycled curbside, but they can't. When you put recyclables in a plastic bag, it gets tangled in the sorting machine and ruins recycling. Let's all properly recycle.
Let's all properly recycle. Let's all properly recycle. Let's all properly recycle. Leave out the plastic bags.
Good morning and welcome to the HART Board of Directors meeting. I'm Chair Pat Kemp on March 7th, 2022. This is our regular meeting and we're meeting. The meeting is hybrid. The quorum is physically present at County Center at 601 East Kennedy Boulevard, and the rest of the board members are participating via communication media technology. Please look at your devices and where an image of the flag is displayed, and here we can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And if the staff could please take roll call at this time.
Yes. Good morning. Mayor Castor?
Here.
Director Frazier?
Here.
Director Johnson?
Here.
Chair Kemp?
Here.
Director Knight?
Here.
Director Myers?
Here.
Director Overman?
Here.
Director Schisler?
Here.
Director Smith?
Here.
Director Williams?
Here.
Directors Hudson and Vieira indicated that they would be absent. You do have a quorum.
Thank you. And we will now move to public comment. And we've had some confusion of the shift between public comment with regards to the ever-changing COVID policies and what we could have here in the boardroom or have by sign-in. But we do have a number of speakers. I don't have the names of those speakers. Ms. Mandel, maybe you could speak to that.
Sure. Yes, as a result of COVID restrictions being kind of lifted, it would be appropriate to have public comment in the forum, upon which each speaker will come in, speak their 3 minutes, and then they will leave. I've asked them to do a sign-up sheet, and I will bring you the sign-up sheet right now.
Okay, so we will have the first person when we get the sign-up sheet, and it's 3 minutes per speaker. We have a number of speakers ready in the other rooms, so we're letting them in to keep. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And our first speaker is Angela, I believe it's Bede. That's what it says. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
And if you could just give your name for the record.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Angela Reed. I am a bus operator at HART. I have been currently at HART for 7 years this August. I have a question for my HART board. What's your definition of caring? Is it only pertaining to upper management because they receive bonuses, pay increases, and all other accommodations such as virtual opportunities during the pandemic, keeping their exposure levels down? Where's the caring for our maintenance, mechanics, working every day to keep up with our vehicles, with the demands of them running all day, every day? Or our road maintenance, maintaining the grounds, our bus shelters, signs? Or our operators, streetcar, van, and bus, who have continued working and maintaining, being on the front line during the pandemic with no accommodations, can't drive the bus virtually? Having day-to-day challenges with traffic, passengers, fare issues, accidents, or our facility environmental crew, cleaning day in and day out, making sure everything and everywhere is sanitized properly and kept clean, bug-free, and germ-free, which all have been at risk during the pandemic. Or our customer service department, taking calls and dealing with attitudes, frustration due to routes being cut, our services still running on a modified schedule, our Flamingo fares not working, and complaints about wearing a mask. And excuse me, if you understood caring, it wouldn't be such a challenge to negotiate bonuses, better wages, better benefits, better conditions, showing appreciation for all of us who have been and continue to be at risk. We are the foundation of HART. We are all supposed to be on the same team with the same goal. United we stand, divided, HART falls. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have the next speaker is Alec Wilkowski, and after that, Drew, looks like Nejman.
Hello, board members. My name is Alec Wilkowski. I'm a field representative with the West Central Florida Labor Council, AFL-CIO. I thank everyone, staff, board members that helped clear up the confusion that initially prevented working people of this community from coming and addressing at a public meeting. We're very glad to have the opportunity to speak. Thank you. I'm here today in solidarity with these workers as they try to bargain a fair contract. I believe that the working conditions of the workers at HART is instrumental in their ability to provide quality, timely services to the people that they serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Drew Nejman.
Hello. My name is Drew Naiman. I'm with the Office and Professional Employees International Union, and I'm just here today to echo the words of some of our fellow speakers and union members and to show some solidarity and support for the bus drivers of HART and the members of ATU Local 1593. As a resident of Hillsborough County, I believe these members deserve better pay, better working conditions, and negotiating for a fair contract, and just at the least to listen to some of the stories that they've had to deal with over the last couple years with COVID. So thank you.
Thank you. Samantha May.
Hello, my name is Samantha May, and I'm a USF student, member of the Democratic Socialists of America, and a resident of Tampa. I'm here today in solidarity with the HART workers who are fighting for a fair contract. As a resident of Tampa, I want my tax dollars to fund fair wages and good working conditions for our essential workers who brought us through this pandemic. Thank you all.
Thank you. And Ismael Rivera.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, Mayor, Commissioners, and guests. My name is Ismael Rivera. I'm an organizer for the ATU International, and I stand before you on behalf of the ATU Local 1593 members. I come to this meeting to make you aware of things that this board may not be aware of. If you're not aware, that's why I'm here. We have problems at HART, major problems. We have shortage of operators. We have employees making less than $15 an hour, especially in the maintenance side. We have problems with scheduling. Buses not running on time, but we stress this on-time performance issue where it puts a lot more mental fatigue on our operators and the work staff. We have a problem with upper management. We're short positions. we're not filling these vacancies. That tells me that we do have a problem. This agency received $47 million of CARE Act money, American Rescue Plan, for operations, wages, and other costs. And I know this because the ATU International lobbied for this. I myself testified in front of Congress for more money for transportation as well as PPE. But instead of taking care of our employees, we decided to give, the employees, the frontline workers, like you mentioned in the last board meeting, how essential we are and how great we are. So we would like, rather than say it, to show us how great of essential employees we are. But instead, what we did was we took some of that money and we lobbied to give a 15% raise to the CEO, okay, based on her performance. Performance from leadership, community engagements, and all that other stuff. The members don't know it, haven't seen her. They don't know what's going on. There's no communication. The only thing that I can suggest is that we take care of our people. We ask for fairness. We have an acronym, WTF, and that's where's the fairness. The CEO can get $37,000 plus a raise. We're still struggling. We have operators who don't come to work because there's a lot of reasons why they don't come to work. It's not because they don't want to. We have problems, and I want to address this board because we need to fix it. This body has the authority to let the board know. Am I cut off?
Your 3 minutes are up. But thank you for your comments. We appreciate.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
We appreciate everyone coming in this morning to let us hear from you and what different operators and different staff are feeling here. I know that there are negotiations underway at this time, and we've heard. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's anyone else at this time. With that being said, we'll move on at this time now to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have,
Ms. Kemp, you forgot the minutes.
I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion? Thank you very much. A motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. And I guess we should vote individually since we have virtual, so many people virtually.
Yes, I would recommend that we vote individually, given the fact that we still have folks that are virtual.
Okay, great. And if you could take a roll call, please. Not a roll call, but a roll call vote.
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Smith?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And with that, we will move then to the consent agenda. And do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. And we have a motion and a second on the consent agenda at this time. Mr. Johnson, Director Johnson, and Commissioner Myers, second. And with that, can we do a roll call vote?
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Smith?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll now move to action items. We'll start with our first action item here with Ms. LeGrand giving a review.
Yes, good morning. We only have one action item on the agenda today, and it's nothing that you have not seen before. It is the time of the year to get our tip list of priorities approved, and want to go over those with you today. Ms. Arthur is pulling it up on the screen now. If you can go down to the list, Ms. Arthur. Thank you. And I did get a request by Commissioner Myers to highlight an item. Unfortunately, Commissioner Items, I was unable to pull that off, but next time I will use the skills to make that happen. What she asked me to highlight was the last line, the last row on the table that's titled FY 2027 projects. That last item is new to our tip list. So everything else on the list you have seen previously. We've added this new project because, as you are aware, we did get the grant from FTA to purchase a new ferry vessel. And the way it works is that in order for us to actually access the dollars, the federal grant dollars, the project has to be in the tip. So we went on ahead and added this project to our tip list for your approval. Again, these are, projects that we anticipate moving forward within this time period that's presented here. But again, in order for us to gain access to those dollars through federal grants, one of the requirements is that the project has to be in a tip. So if there are any questions, definitely prepared to answer them, but what we'd like is for approval of this list.
Yes.
I would just like to highlight on the city's part, the inclusion of the streetcar for the $50 million, just for everybody's information. We reached 900,000 riders in the last 12 months, and that ridership is close to the Sunrail, which is 62 miles long. So that the extension of this particular project, which is #1 for the city of Tampa, will connect Ybor City, Channel Side, Water Street, downtown, Tampa Heights, and then in the future, we plan to go east, west, and north as well. So it's, as I stated, #1 project for us in the city of Tampa, and I thank everyone for including that.
Thank you. And I'd just like to point out, too, because for this board, it's the first time, I think, that as a board anyway, that we've heard about the ferry, and it was a magnificent award that we got in cooperation with Hillsborough County, with the city of Tampa, with St. Petersburg, actually, with Pinellas County and Hillsborough County, all coming in to support the ferry, and to get a $4.9 million award is unprecedented in this region, and so it's really something we should be really proud of. And what this does is we've been leasing the ferries. I've had lots of questions about it, but we've been leasing the ferries. And by the way, obviously, HART was totally instrumental in taking. We have to thank you, Ms. LeGrand, for moving in there. And I know we've had lots of hands helping lift this. And I was actually a little surprised also to hear that the way these grants come down is just kind of suddenly. There's no significant notice that the opportunity to apply for this is coming. So it came. We had from our notice 5 weeks to submit it, which was I'm not used to hearing grants go that way. I'm used to hearing them be prepared for years and years. And in 5 weeks, everyone pulled together. The grant application was made, and it was really wonderful. I think there were about 7 or 8 grants that were done around the country. We were one of the highest awards, so it's something for us to be really proud of. And we're going to have permanent ferry service in Tampa Bay because we now have a ferry that we're not leasing from New England during the winters, which has been the case for the ferries that we've used. So this is our first start at permanent ferry service, which our waters are all around us, and it's kind of crazy that I've understood that for some time that Oklahoma City has ferry service, believe it or not. And for us not to have it, yes, for us not to have it has been a real a loss on our part. It's historically been here, and we're going to bring it back. So with that, I think, do we have any other comments on the tip list? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Director Schizler, seconded by Director Williams. And with that, any other comments? If we could please do a roll call vote.
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schizler?
Yes.
Director Smith?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we will move on now to the Chief Executive's item report. I don't know if you were going to report the.
Sole source.
Oh, sole source procurement and one-time deviation from procurement manual.
Yes, thank you, Chair Kemp. Quickly, again, this is another form that we share with you. Just wanted to highlight for the month of February, we had 3 sole source awards that we wanted to present. They're all in the technology space. So you'll see now on the screen, there was an award to Trapeze Software Group. That's the software that we use for our routing and scheduling. There's also GenFair. That's the software we use for our fare box. So when folks put money in the fare box, this is the software that helps us to calculate how much we're receiving. And then Innovative Cloud Solution, that's for storage of information. So what you see here on this slide or table are the total amounts that were spent in the month of February on this sole source. And then item B, table B, shares with you the total, or presents to you the total sole source award year to date. So we're pushing up against $1 million. Again, the intention here is just so that, you know, we do business. It's allowed in our policy to award these awards to these vendors for ongoing activities, but we do think it's important for you as a board to know how much we're spending and how we're tracking. So there's no action here. It's just to be presented.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we can move on to the chair's report.
Okay, so quickly, and I know that there are other things going on today. It was brought to my attention. Brevity was definitely going to be important for today. So I did want to share a couple of things, if you can think of them as, I guess, maybe trailers or teasers. So when we have our committee meetings in March, which will be in 2 weeks, did want to bring a couple of things to your attention, especially for those of you who are not on a committee, you may, consider attending. We do have an update from InfraStrategies. If you recall, they came and presented the financial model, but at that time, they had not updated the model with the information from the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment Job Act, which gives HART additional funds. So there'll be a 30% increase in our formula funds, and then there'll be a larger increase in discretionary funds. And discretionary funds are those funds that we can compete for, like the ferry. That's a great example, right? So that was before IIJA passed, but there were funds there that we can compete for. There'll be lots of opportunities for us to compete for additional dollars, which is great for HART. But the other thing we need to keep in mind, in order to go after those dollars, we have to have a local match. So I do think it's important for those of you who are not on the Finance Committee to come in March to our Finance Committee meeting, because InfraStrategies has updated the model. They are able to now show us, where our financial cliff is, and for us to have a conversation about how we prioritize priorities or projects, so that we know how we're going to move forward and the impact our decisions will have on how the organization provides service to the Hillsborough County community. So that's one. The other, we did have the pleasure of hiring a new Director of Human Resources, Ms. Wanda Dunnigan. She's in the back of the room there. She comes to us from the airport, which is great because she has a great understanding of the county. She understands USDOT regulations, and she also understands the challenges that we're facing now. I think I met with her last week, and she had a terminology. I think it's like the global, resignation or something like that. Wanda, I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. But it's, nationwide or globally, people have decided to opt out of going to work. And when she met with me last week, she's putting together a strategy strategy on how do we attract and retain more employees to HART. And one of her strategies is really looking at our benefits and finding opportunities to make it more attractive. So we're going to have a series of conversations where Ms. Dunnigan will present to us as a committee, as leadership, on ways that we can go about, attracting. She just joined the organization, so we're super excited, and we're looking forward to her engaging with you so we can find out how she can help us move forward. And then lastly, what we want, oh, I'm sorry.
Would love to see, wish.
I didn't know you didn't see her. She's like me, stature not well inclined. I don't know if that's the right terminology. Ms. Dunnigan. Thank you, Director Knight. If you don't mind, Ms. Dunnigan, saying a couple of words to the board.
Good morning. As she mentioned, as our CEO mentioned, I did come from the airport. I spent 9 years as a senior manager of employee relations and talent acquisition with the airport. Prior to that, my tenure was almost 10 years with Hillsborough County with their Human Resources Department as the HR manager for the Public Utilities Department. So I have well-rounded experience. I'm really excited about trying to change both the culture and the way that HART may be viewed in the community. I have a lot of great ideas, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring some of them to fruition here shortly. That's it.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Dunnigan? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then, as I was stating, lastly, what we do want to showcase is at our committee meetings, we have taken a very, I would say, forensic look at how our operations are doing. So we meet weekly. Mr. Edwards, Bobby Edwards, is in the back of the room. He is the Director of Transportation. And, he has a working group that comprises of operators and schedulers and, folks who are actually driving the buses, fixing the buses, to really help us to understand how we can improve on our on-time performance. So we'll have a great presentation at the committee meeting that will share some of the feedback from the working group as well as the regular stats that we present, but getting some insight on what the team that actually does the job thinks about how we can make some improvements. So I just wanted to share that with you today. If you're not on a committee, consider coming to the committee meeting, or dialing in is also hybrid. So you can just dial in and listen, and there's some great work that the team has been working on and want to share it with you. So that's it for me today. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was just saying, I was thinking the ferry would come up during your report, but I would also just like to recognize, I know I said a bit about it, but you talked about the match, and the county provided a $1.2 million match so that we could do this. And without that, we would not have gotten the federal matching dollars to move that through. So Hillsborough County, Bonnie Wise has been the county administrator, very wonderful in working with this, along with Greg Horadell and Tom Fast. Dana McDonald was a very astute grant writer, from what I understand, county grant writer. And I have to thank also Congresswoman Castor. It takes a big team to do this, pull this off in our region, and Congresswoman Castor was instrumental in making sure that we were taken seriously in looking through this award, and that's the first person I heard from in terms of this award being made. And also Ed Taranchik, because he's been at it for years, and if we hadn't had a legacy system, we would have not been eligible for this grant. So if we had not moved forward with the legacy system, it's all about how we move forward, not only with this, but with other issues or other funding as it comes forward. And we take opportunities for funding our legacy systems, which we have missed and have really been remiss in not getting in this area because we've had so few. So with that, we'll move now to the General Counsel's report. Yes.
Commissioner Kemp, before we move on to the General Counsel's report, I just have 2 questions or comments.
Sure.
Thank you. I had my hand raised, but it took me a while to figure out how to do it, so my apologies for late. I wanted to make comment regarding the sole source procurement. And it really is to request that the next committee meeting under, I believe, operations, if we could get a report on the Flamingo Fair and the Odyssey Farebox software support to give us some understanding of what's working and what's not, or where we are in making sure that Flamingo works well. It's such a great opportunity to remove any barriers to ridership when that works well. But when it doesn't, it doesn't work as well. So if it's possible at the next operations meeting, I believe that would be where that could occur. If we could get an understanding of what Odyssey's Farebox software support and how that relates to what we have been doing with Flamingo Fair, and see where that intersection lies and how that could possibly improve what the experience has been for the Flamingo Farebox, because that apparently has been a challenge based on a couple of meetings comments. The other has to do with the comments we made earlier regarding infrastructure's presentation of the the Financial Committee. I'm really happy to see that we are going to get an update on that. And to Commissioner Kemp's comment regarding the match, that is critically important. Without future revenues, being able to qualify for those federal grants is going to be very, very difficult to do. This week, the Board of County Commission will be hearing from HART on our overall needs for the revenues that would be generated for the surtax, and we're looking forward to that presentation at 1:30 on Thursday at the Board of County Commission, and looking forward to hearing HART's presentation as it presents the information we got from InfraStrategies before, as well as the long-term transportation needs of the organization. So I think it would be incredibly valuable. So comments regarding the income stream and the revenues that would be generated is important to support the long-term transportation needs of HART. So I wanted to make mention of that. And I'm looking forward to the General Counsel's report, but a comment that was made earlier that the only action items we had today were the two that were previously approved. But according to the agenda, there is actually an action item associated with the General Counsel's report. And I would like to make a recommendation that all action items be under action items in the future agendas, even if it does include something that is an opportunity for the General Counsel to opine on. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second that if it's a motion.
I'm sorry?
I'll
I'll
make that
second
motion.
that if it's a motion.
It's a motion.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion to have all action items listed under the action items segment of the agenda. And we have a motion by Commissioner Overman, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Seeing no other comments at this time.
I'll make one comment. To have them, the point is to have the public record, the agenda, us and the employees and the public all understand what actions may be taken at a HART board meeting. And so as well as listing them as action items, I think the point is to describe them fully and provide enough backup so that we can make informed decisions about action items, and so the public can see and the employees can see what we're basing our decisions on and what the decisions would be based on. So I hope that all of that would be included in agendas as a policy. Thank you.
Yes, and Commissioner Knight?
And thank you, Chair Kemp. If I may, Ms. LeGrand, I'd like to know more about, maybe you can share some, and even Chair Kemp, you said that everything going good with negotiation with the drivers, the workers. Can you give us some information? Because go on record to say that I know I care, and I'm sure everybody on the board of directors care, and for fairness. But some of the things that I was hearing, I like to ask what's really going on. We don't know anything, and it hadn't gotten to us, but I'm sure that more would like to know what the status and what's going on with the negotiation.
Okay, at this time, because that's not to the motion, let's, we have a motion on the floor, and let's we'll look at that motion and
Go
then.
back to it.
Mhm. Yes.
Just quickly from Ms. LeGrand, is that an issue with this motion, having it put onto the agenda, or is there a reason that that detail hasn't been included to point?
For the general counsel's report not being listed under action items?
What they're asking for with
M-
the additional information.
Maybe we could have the general counsel to, because, respond to that, because they had it, I know it was added under the general counsels, that might be, can you respond to that, Ms.
It's my
Wendell?
understanding, and this has just been what I've seen happen in the past, that if there's an item being brought by the general counsel, it has been placed on the agenda under the general counsel's report as an action item. I don't think it has any real meaning other than organizationally, so where we put those action items is fine, and if that's the wish to put all action items together versus breaking them out under the general counsel's report for those items, I think that's a valid point, and I would say that that's probably the right way to manage that.
And I think in the past, from what, and I've tried to do a little research on my own on this, but that it had been under the general counsel's report here in the past. But, you know, I don't think there's any issue with moving it elsewhere. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ms. LeGrand. I know that you haven't been here for these in the past, so.
No, I mean, we are definitely a flexible organization, so if we want to consolidate, and what we'll do is just possibly cluster the action items that are staff action items, and then cluster the general counsel action items, so that way we can hand off from myself to Ms. Mandel or whomever to do the general counsel action items. So we can manage that.
Okay, great. Seeing
Mr.
no,
Kemp?
yes,
Mr. Kemp? I'd like to comment to that effect. The last board meeting, when we got to general counsel's report, the agenda reflected that there were no notes or backup regarding the issue associated with the performance review nor the contract. The contract was not in the agenda backup. So the new commissioners who may not have been on the board when that contract was signed had nothing to refer to. And there was no reference to that was going to be part of the discussion for the day. It was also, so to Commissioner Smith's point, if the general counsel is providing an action item and discussing it, just as many of our staff do when they're addressing a presentation associated with a resolution that the board needs to approve, I don't see a problem with that. Previously, general counsel reports more than likely had to do with outstanding lawsuits or outstanding legal issues that HART was facing as an organization, and that's fine. But action items where board members are being asked to vote on something need to be considered, in my opinion, under action items. And if the general counsel would like to present those action items, there's not a problem with that. But to have action items that we are being asked to consider without the backup or without it on the agenda is, I believe, not the best way to show transparency within our community and to work towards clear decision making by those that are being asked to vote on something. And so that's why I made the motion. I think it's an easy problem to solve, and I think it would actually assist in creating greater transparency, not only with the board and the organization and its employees, but also with the public. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
and Commissioner Overman, I would just say I didn't hear any contrary discussion to that point. And, yes. Go
You
ahead.
recognize me?
Yes, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to add that if Ms. Mandel will be presenting action items, that we be brief prior to coming to the board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that that's a good point as well. And with that hearing, no other comments at this time. If we can do a roll call vote.
What, I had my hand up.
Oh, excuse me. Commissioner, or Director Knight.
Thank you. And again, I would also like, and I said it in the past, we have audit and finance, safety committees, different committees. They've been canceled, but we, along with Commissioner Overman, things come up. I like for it to go back to, that we have those meetings. You're saying now that we're gonna have one probably the second week in March, but that might get canceled too. Why are these meetings still getting canceled?
I think we only had one month that was ever canceled, and I think due to what was happening on the agendas of that month. So there's not been any permanent decision with regards to that, or we had gone through already most of everything that was on the agenda with those meetings at the time. Yes, Mayor
Just
Castor.
because I'm first to vote, I don't want to appear a little slow here. So we're just talking about one particular incident that we didn't have the backup information. So what we're looking for is just to ensure that we have backup information for every agenda item.
I believe what was said was to move the action item on this agenda is under the general counsel's report as it has traditionally been. The fact that there was not backup was I think, to everyone's acknowledgement, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Ms. Mandel, but the fact that there was not backup on that last month, I think everyone will acknowledge that that was an issue. That's one of the reasons it's on this agenda with backup. So it's not affecting that. There's never been a policy that you shouldn't have backup. That should have happened last month and didn't. So that is clear. I think that what Commissioner Overman is raising is the fact that this agenda item would not be listed under the general counsel as an action item under the general counsel's name, but with the other action items on the agenda. That's the motion, correct, Commissioner Overman?
Ma'am, that is correct.
Okay, and so we have a motion by Commissioner Overman, seconded by Commissioner Smith, and.
One more thing.
Yes.
One more thing. I don't have a version of the agenda that shows an action item under the general counsel today. So I never, I mean, I don't even have an agenda that lists an action item here or there or anywhere under the general counsel or anything other than the action item we've passed. Did I miss a later version that was sent out?
Ms. Mandel.
The agenda, and I apologize if you don't have that, the agenda that I have in front of me has an action item, which is a resolution approving the amendment to the contract, which I sent the amendment out as part of a memorandum that I sent last week.
I don't have an agenda that shows that. I'm furiously asking my staff, we haven't gotten an agenda that shows an action item.
The agendas the agenda I saw and the agenda I have up right now does show that as an action item. It is under the general counsel's report, which is traditionally how those actions have happened. I agree, let's move them under regular action items and we'll just manage that, I think, as Ms. LeGrand has said, but I can't answer because I don't know I know that I very specifically ensured that it was both an action item that as part of the backup was the documents, and I also sent that to you in the form of a memorandum, which went out last week.
I got your email with attachments
And the memo.
But no, with the CEO's contract and performance evaluations, but no agenda, no new agenda that shows that would be, on our agenda, and no backup available to the public with an updated agenda with those items. Did I miss that? Was it sent out and somehow?
My understanding is the agenda
My
that went out
staff is
included
telling me
that.
they never got it, and I never got it.
Okay.
Did anybody else have that problem with not receiving the agenda with that? I mean, is there a glitch
I
in the
did.
system?
I think the agenda I got from Mr. Beasley doesn't have that as a notation, so maybe it's just an earlier version. I don't know how to raise my hand on the WebEx, so I apologize for speaking out.
I didn't get it.
Ms. LeGrand, did you want to address that?
So, excuse me. I take, this is concerning to me. I know that the agenda, there are different versions of the agenda that the board members receive because we send you the agenda in a draft format. So depending on, your last review of the agenda or even your timing of your overview with me, the agenda could change from then if it was under the draft. But when the agenda becomes final, everyone should have a copy of the final agenda. So I believe Ms. Mandel, and I don't recall exactly, but I want to say, was it last Thursday, that your action items were provided? I'm unsure.
It was last Tuesday, actually. I sent a memo out last Tuesday.
The memo, but
And I provided all that information to Jeremy so that and made sure that it was on the agenda. So as far as I know, it was properly placed on the agenda.
So I know it went out to the public. What we'll do is take a look and see what could have happened, but I have an update with the agenda the way it is here, but it wasn't addressed to me. It's addressed to like the public. So my thought was everybody gets this link. So I will have to go in and see, but I apologize for you not getting the updated agenda. I got a request, I think on Thursday for approval. We have to send the agenda out. I believe it's, Ms. Arthur, it's 5 days, right, prior? And we sent it out. That was Thursday, right? So Thursday, if I'm counting the days correctly, Ms. Arthur, was it Thursday morning that we sent out the agenda? The final agenda?
I believe there was an agenda sent out on Monday. Jeremy Beasley was the one who approved or authorized that release for the packet.
Okay, so between Monday and Thursday, but Thursday would have been the last day technically that we could send an updated agenda out. So if you did not get an updated agenda on Thursday, then that's a
No.
problem. Okay,
Yeah, and neither me nor my staff.
Okay.
So, lesson learned.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That won't happen again.
I would say, too, that the updated agenda is on the HART website as well, with the backup as well. But thank you for, this is important. So we have to move forward with this, but one of the, it would probably be helpful to have it listed under the agenda item. That might be helpful in terms of this. So we can have it hopefully on the first version of the agenda and not an updated version when there's an important issue like this. But with that, I see no other discussion. Can we please do a roll call vote? And we have the motion by Commissioner Overman, seconded by Commissioner Smith, and this was to move any items that might be action items that are under the general counsel's report that have been there in the past or present, to have those items all be under action items, all listed in the same place on the agenda.
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman? Director Overman,
Sorry, yes. Didn't pick up, my apologies.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Williams. The
Yes.
motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. And just one more, I would be interested in an updated Flamingo Odyssey report. Can we do that for the next operations? That was another thing that was mentioned, and thank you.
Yes, we can.
Okay, that would be very good. And we'll move now to the general counsel's report.
And I do apologize if it didn't get uploaded onto the agendas that you received, but I did send out a memorandum regarding this general counsel's report, as well as the draft of the amendment to the CEO contract per your action of February 7th. And just to step back, you took an action on February 7th under the CEO contract to award a 15% base salary increase based upon the triggering events that we discussed at that meeting, as well as voted to proceed forward with an amendment to the contract, which would have the contract go until 2025 in terms of the amount of the term of that contract with 2 extensions. That has been sent to you. It was an amendment that has been made. It has been reviewed by Ms. LeGrand and has been deemed acceptable by her. As I said at that meeting, that was an item that could not proceed forward until you had a contract actually in front of you to approve for that action to be finalized. So that is what is in front of you, and that is the action item. I would request for you to approve that resolution, approving that contract extension. And why don't we go ahead and take it, we'll call that up for an action, and then I'd like to proceed forward. And I think it's good that we're talking about some of the process issues, because, you know, sometimes the process issues have to come to a head before you realize they're a problem. So I'm going to make some suggestions on that. So if we can go ahead and call for an action on the resolution, I'll proceed to the next part of my report.
Thank you. So do we have a motion to approve the action, the authorizing and approval execution of the amendment to the contract? Yes. Director Knight.
Thank you. Before you get into that, like I stated before, in the past, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Audit and Finance Committee, with the information that we used to look at it, and then we make a decision and we bring it to the board. A lot of things is being circumvented now, and I would like to know why, if it's important, because I've asked for some information pertaining to how many people, just questions. How many people left in the last year? How many people have been hired? I want some information. We also asked for evaluation. I had evaluation the last meeting. I didn't present it because you, Chair, asked council to go over, let's get a generalized, and you made a decision. What I'm saying is, I would like to shoot that back to Audit and Finance. Then we bring it, look at it, then bring it back and look at the, and I'm also concerned about the drivers, the workers, the personnel on those information. I'd like to address that, you know, because we have a contract and we went over and above when we hired. We went outside what we said. So let's go back to that. And I'm concerned about those workers and what's going on in that contract, and we can get to this. But I think that's more important, in my opinion.
Okay. We have the comments by Director Knight. Is there any other comments about this? Is there a motion to?
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Yes, I found the comments by the ATU members today to be very compelling. I thought they were eloquent and respectful and heartfelt, and I heard them. And I know you all did. I know you all did. I know that we all here greatly admire and value our frontline essential workers who have done so much for this community during the pandemic, and time after time, day after day, earned the hashtag Heart Heroes. I know that we all feel that. At our last meeting, when we talked about this contract amendment, I asked about the minimum wages in our organization, and was, was sorry to hear that we have not been able to bring that up to $15 an hour yet, and that we have several HART employees in the maintenance department keeping our buses going who are not yet making a living wage, even of $15 an hour in this time when, when affordable housing is just reaching epic proportions, when prices are increasing. And I just can't bear to think that we are in charge of an organization that has not been able to achieve that yet. And so I would like, before I could vote on amending the CEO contract, as I said before, I would like to ensure, to get a commitment that we are, at a minimum, going to be bringing those wages up ASAP. So I'd like to hear that commitment today before I could vote on increasing, a large increase for upper management, at the CEO level. Thank you.
I don't know, at this time, did you want to speak to that at all, Ms. LeGrand, or?
Okay,
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, before she speaks, can you recognize all the hands that are in the queue?
Okay.
So we can be addressed on the same issue first. Thank you so much.
Yes. Commissioner, and I'm not sure who had their hands up first, honestly, because a lot of hands went up seemingly at once. Okay. Or maybe it actually is on my order. It looks like that's true. Thank you. Director Schizler.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I a little bit concerned with what happened here today, this morning. Unless I'm mistaken, we had one HART employee here. I believe out of all the individuals that were here, the rest were supporters. We do not know the status of the contract, but I believe in discussions with Ms. LeGrand that the contract is progressing to the point of people not receiving a living wage. If I remember correctly, I realize it was 1,000 miles away, but I believe that Mr. Drainville said that we had like maybe a small number of individuals that were in the process of being raised. I can't quote the numbers, it was a month ago, but I believe that that was something that was being addressed if it wasn't already addressed. So I think that we're doing what we can in the time frame that we have allowed for this to occur, to be fixed and rectified. I'm not really sure where we're trying to go today. We're trying to back up and backtrack what was done the last meeting. I think we need to. I do agree with Mr. Knight that some of these things need to come back to the individual committees for further recommendation, that we can do some slicing and dicing and deeper information as to before it's presented to the board. But I know Ms. LeGrand is sensitive to that, and things have been brought in the past. But I believe that this particular issue is the committee as a whole. And this is an item that we probably just need to get it done and get it taken care of and move forward.
Is that a motion?
I move to accept the resolution R2022-03-.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
Okay. Mayor Castor, and I think, did I hear you as well, Commissioner Myers? Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve it as listed. And that's why I was following through with the discussion, because I didn't have anybody make a motion. I didn't know where we were going with this, but, and so next, I see Commissioner Myers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to support the motion on the amendment of the appraisal. As we discussed last year, this is a contract that were already in place and approved by this board. And now we want to come back and make changes. We approved the contract, we must honor the contract. As we go into the second year, then we make changes to the contract going into the second year, which is now she's going into her second year. But we should honor what we've already approved. We want to backtrack. I do agree with the employees that came this morning and the support. There are some concerns, and they must be addressed. I know we're in negotiation with the union for better wages and all, and we ask that you give us a report at the next month's meeting. But this board should approve what we've already voted on last year. That's all, we're just ratifying. She met the requirements that were in the agreement, and now we have some concerns about it. But this is what the board approved, and we shouldn't have any concerns. We should take those concerns and move forward going into the new contract, what we'd like to see different. But she's met the requirements, and that's what I'm going to support.
Thank you. And we have Mayor Castor.
I've been through organizational change, and I know how difficult that is to change the culture of an organization. It certainly doesn't happen overnight. I too heard the concerns of everyone that spoke. Clearly, one HART bus driver doesn't speak for everyone, but there are issues that need to be addressed. But I believe that Ms. LeGrand is doing a great job changing the culture of the organization and doing as much as she possibly can with a very small budget. And we can thank the individuals that had the All for Transportation referendum that was voted for and then taken down by a single individual. We can thank them for not having funding for our bus system. But doing more with less is what I've seen from Ms. LeGrand, and she has gotten more done in the last year than I've seen my entire time on this board. And to have that consistent leadership and then a pledge to stay on for additional years is something that I appreciate, and I think that the drivers will too. I know she knows the concerns because if I'm not mistaken, you opened up the contract and provided the bus drivers with a raise as well. And then looking at the maintenance building, doing a lot of things in this year that haven't been done in a number of years. So I support Ms. LeGrand and her leadership, and I know that she hears the concerns of the employees and is doing the best that she can to make those improvements. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And we have Director Johnson.
Quickly, I just wanted to be able to, the items that were brought before during public comment, that's something that I know that Ms. LeGrand's already on top of. I'm not worried about that. I think now that we are in a procedure to be able, we're in the proper place to be able to vote on this, I think this is the right thing for us to do. We had a contract. We need to be able to honor that. I have no doubt that Ms. LeGrand is already working on these based off of just conversations that we've had, but also the fact that seeing what she has done in the period that she has been here at HART. I want to be able to make sure that she's going to continue to be here to continue some of these items. But, I know that we're going to be getting the updates that we want, and I have no doubt that, she's going to be getting to the bottom if there is an issue. I have no doubt that we're going to be getting the recommendations that we would need.
Thank you. And I don't, do we have, I see a few hands up, but I think they're just not taken down. Commissioner Smith?
Right, so I did ask if there was anybody, Ms. LeGrand or HR or anybody that could give us a commitment that we will be raising the minimum wage ASAP. I hear from the board members a confidence that that will be happening. I heard, Commissioner Myers said she wanted all the board members to be heard from first, but I just have asked where we are with a commitment to raising the minimum wage. From what I understand from the last meeting, there were 16 employees who are not making a living wage of $15 an hour. As I said before, that's something that the county has committed to, the city has committed to. It's being done at Tampa Bay Water, it's being done everywhere. I'm just asking for what kind of a commitment we have for that on the record, as I asked at the last meeting, before we vote on the raise for the CEO.
Ms. LeGrand, did you want to address that?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Smith, I understand and I hear you clearly, and you and I have had some conversations in the past as well about the importance of providing a living wage. I do serve at the pleasure of the board, and the board sets priorities, and they also approve the salaries that we pay as we go through our budget cycle. So if the board wants to take a vote and make it clear that we need to raise our minimum wage in the agency to whatever number the board wants us to raise it to, I ensure that staff will be committed to implementing what the board is asking us to do. But as it stands right now, we only have, I believe at last count, it was 16 employees that were under $15 an hour, and I know the starting wage for a bus operator is $15.25. Based on our contract negotiations, whatever the increase is, that number would increase by that percentage as well. So it's something that will continue to increase. But again, for your specific question on the floor, I think it would be appropriate for the board to, collectively state that this is the direction that they want the agency to move forward. And our HR director is in here, and we'll ensure that we implement that as requested.
Commissioner Smith, I might suggest that we go through and take the other comments from this vote, and then I'll entertain, if you like, a motion from you to do that, if you're interested.
I'll make an amendment to this motion to include that as we are amending this contract, we direct staff to raise the minimum wage of this agency to at least $15 an hour.
Okay, we have a motion to make an amendment. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
I'm sorry, was that Director Knight? Okay. So we have an amendment and a second. Does anyone want to speak? As I said, this could be done as a separate amendment afterwards, but you must speak to the amendment at this time. If you want to pass it as part of this, that's what we're talking about here. We can entertain a motion after this with that exact, we can entertain it afterwards, but does anyone want to speak to exactly this amendment?
I would like,
I'm sorry, Director Schisler.
Well, I have other comments to make also, but to this amendment, I think that I would like to keep this motion as clean as possible for a singular item. To that point, as chair of the Finance and Audit Committee, I can pretty much guarantee you no budget will come out of committee that does not include the $15 minimum. So beyond that, we can come back and address that if you want, but I'd like to keep this as a clean motion. It's an important position that this board is taking with respect to Ms. LeGrand and her contract in the future, and I have no problem with coming back as a secondary motion. But I think I would like to keep this motion as clean as possible. It's singular.
Director Johnson.
that's exactly what I was going to say. I think we keep this motion as clean as possible and definitely come back and revisit it in some capacity today if we want to.
And I'll just say for the record, I am and have been very concerned all along, I think Commissioner Smith knows this, for $15 an hour. Would have insisted upon it at HART, as we have at the County Commission and other groups we've been on, except that HART was in such desperate straits in the past. We didn't know what would happen with COVID. We went through a series of directors. It would have been done in the past had we known the resources had been there. And I'm very interested in voting on it after this. myself, but I will vote no as making an amendment to this. But I don't know that anyone else is,
Commissioner Kemp?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, the thing is, I feel like my vote on a substantial raise for the CEO depends on a commitment to our lowest paid workers. I will say that I am hearing enough from the board members and Ms. LeGrand to give me confidence that we can do this today. We can do both things today, and if there's discomfort among the board members of doing them as part of one motion, but we do have assurance that I can pass it as a second motion, I will withdraw the amendment and go along with the motion on the floor. I can count votes and want to be a collegial board member, but I am going to make this motion immediately after, and I'm counting on the support of the rest of the, of at least a majority of the board to treat our employees justly in this regard.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I make one just clarification?
Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify. So we have two, I would say, categories of employees. So we have those who are in bargaining and those who are non-bargaining. So those who are in bargaining, what will require for us, on our side, to implement what is being asked is through the negotiation process that those classifications would have a starting wage of $15 an hour. But that will happen through negotiations. For those who are non-bargaining, that can be handled through HR, through a different process. I just want to be extremely clear that voting today and saying everyone will have a minimum or will have a minimum wage of $15 does not mean that that will go in effect today, right? So the way the bargaining piece will work is as we complete negotiations, those wages will then have a starting wage of $15, but those who are not in a bargaining unit, it'll be a little different. I know there's some nuance, but I just do not want us to leave the room with this, and come back next month, and if we're still in negotiations and the question is posed, how many people are being paid less than $15 an hour, and it's 10 instead of, 0, I don't want there to be any confusion. So if there's any questions related to that, definitely would be willing to have a conversation, but there are some nuances on how that would work. But the commitment is when we complete the negotiations with the contract, with the union, that number, starting number, will be in effect, as well as for those who are not a part of the union.
Okay, so we can take that under, that information as it sounds like we will now be moving to the main motion, and then we will entertain a second motion, and that's more relevant, I think, to the second motion and good information. But I'm going to see, is there any other? Director Schizler.
Thank you. I'm going back a year, but in the original contract with Ms. LeGrand, I was somewhat unenthusiastic about the level of pay and the limitations, or I'm sorry, the criteria we put on the contract. And I had issues in the beginning, and Ms. LeGrand was aware of those issues, and we talked about it. But I came to see that she's the best thing we got going for us in that position. Okay, very impressed with the capabilities. She has met every one of the criteria that we put there, and she's done it well. She's worked through the organizational upheaval that comes with this type of a change, and she's handled it masterfully. Is she perfect? No. She doesn't walk on water, but she does a very, very good job for what we ask her to do, given the limitations and the criteria and dealing with us. Okay, we're a tough bunch of bosses. So I think that she's earned it, she deserves it, and I expect better things, the improvements that we have going to come down the pike, and I urge everybody to support this, as well as the rank and file staff and and employees all throughout HART. I think that this is the right thing to do, and the organizational benefit from it in the future. And I'll stop there.
Thank you. I think I'll let it rest on that, but I say I couldn't agree more that we need to move forward with this. So with that, if we could just have a roll call.
You're not gonna acknowledge me? You see my hand up?
Oh,
Time.
excuse me, Director Knight, I did not.
And again, nothing personal against Mrs. LeGrand. Really appreciate everything she's doing. Can you hear me now? Nothing personal against Ms. LeGrand, but what I'm saying, and along with Director Smith on the commitment, that the negotiation, we did some things that wasn't how we should have done, and we voted on it last time. I also, on the bargaining unit, even the other non-bargaining, with the raise or whatever it takes, want a commitment that we get this thing done. Some of the things that they talked on today during negotiation, I don't know if it's going on now or if it's going to resume or what. That's an answer that Ms. LeGrand can answer for us. But I think that we need to, the ones that we have brought in and applaud and complimented, we need to get this contract done, and so it can come to us and we vote on it. And if that's a commitment from her to say that, then I don't mind we voting on it, or me voting for her. But I want that also part of it.
Okay, at this time, that, because Commissioner Smith has withdrawn the original motion, that is not going to be part of this motion, but we will, I will recognize her, and it sounds like she will be bringing it back, and that there's a lot of support for it. So I think that speaks to that second, to what we will move to after. So at this time, can we move to a roll call vote on this issue, please?
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight? Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Smith?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Excellent, thank you. With that, now, I will recognize Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. And so my motion, and thank you, Ms. LeGrand, for explaining, so everybody is clear, the public, our employees, our organized workers, and us, that of course there are steps and phases and negotiations to go through to get there. But my motion at this time is to direct staff to work as expeditiously and hard as they can to bring all our workers up to a minimum wage of $15 an hour.
Okay, and do we?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Myers seconded. And I know that Director Knight was also, did you want to? Okay. And with that, we have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Myers, and I do not see at this time any other discussion. Okay, Director Schisler.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Councilman.
Ms. LeGrand, what type of schedule do you anticipate with the ability to negotiate the union contracts to accomplish this?
I have no definitive timeline. We've been in negotiations for several months. I am not at the negotiation table by design, so I'm not close enough to the details. Staff is in the back of the room, those who do sit on the negotiation as a part of the negotiation, so I can ask someone I'm really short.
Who knows when the contract renews?
Well, the contract ended September 30th of 2021.
Okay, so we have no contract right now. But
So we've been negotiating since May of 2021. I don't know, Mr. Drainville, I can't see if Ms. Wright is back there, but if someone can come up to the mic, who's a part of the negotiation team, 'cause I am not as engaged based on the process.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Scott Trainville, Chief of
It sounds like your
Transportation.
mic is not
Can you hear me?
working.
Okay.
Okay.
It's working, okay. So just a brief overview. So there's only two outstanding articles, Article 5 and Article 56. All the other articles have been TA'd. We did-
Explain what TA means, please, Mr.
Oh, so they're
Drainville.
at tentative agreements. So we do start negotiations back at the table sitting tomorrow. We did give a best and final. It was voted down by the union. And I believe in our best and final, all wages were above $15 an hour.
So I don't know if that answers the questions, but if you can, I don't know if this is permissible, so Mr. Drainville, if it's not, just tell me it's not. But is it permissible to share what the two items that have not been TA'd are, or is that
No,
not
it can be-
permissible?
So Article 5 is attendance and Article 56 is wages. And without giving too many specifics, because we are on
Right.
negotiations.
I would just like to know, as we understand it to be 16 HART employees, are they under this contract? Do we know this, or are they otherwise?
So currently, they're under current contract wages, storekeeper, customer service, and maintenance general attendance, which adds up to about 16 employees that make under $15 an hour. So it's under the current contract, not the contract we are negotiating.
Okay, so currently, all of these people, all of these employees that are making under $15 an hour, if this contract as it is approved, there would no longer be any employees that are not making under $15 an hour?
So with the current contract, we will have everyone over $15 an hour.
Okay, everyone in the organization?
That's correct.
Okay, I wanted that clarification. Right, I thought so. I had the same question, right. So with that, I don't know if there are others. I think there's a general, I think we heard it before, and that there's been a concern on this board that our employees at HART are paid and are paid as best that we can pay them for the work that they do, which is, we understand that they are really our HART heroes and lift the organization up. We did hear from one driver this morning, and, I know I have a regular or ask and try to understand exactly what the sentiment is and where we're going with this, but we do have constraints in terms of these kinds of negotiations at work and not knowing exactly where things are. But I know there's a deep concern on this board to make sure that we are able to do what we can for all of our employees, operators, everyone else in the organization that does the great service to this community. And with that, I don't see any other comments. It looks like this contract negotiation will be moving in that direction, and you'll have the affirmation of this board, I believe, as we move forward. So we'll do a roll call vote if there's no other comments.
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman? Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Smith?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Can you repeat the motion, please?
It was the motion to direct staff to bring workers to a minimum wage of $15 an hour.
Okay, and that is before the negotiation?
That will be, it's just the board's desire that would happen, that there would be, that we would support all of our employees.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, do we have any further?
It's really more informational. I think we could all agree that in proceeding forward under this process, which.
Is your microphone on for certain?
It should be.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. We haven't, as I said last month, we haven't evaluated a CEO in quite a long time, and there's not a particularly well-delineated process in your rules of procedure for that. So what I'm recommending, and I put that in my memorandum, is you do, in your rules of procedure, have an executive committee that I think is, I don't know when it's met, if ever, and has sort of nondescript authority and process. So I'm recommending that I proceed forward with the change to your rules of procedure to make, as part of the executive committee, a function as the CEO evaluations moving forward. So that way it's a much more deliberative process that we understand what's going to occur. That process would go to the executive committee prior to it coming to the board. It would also assist in looking at the evaluation criteria. I think in this instance, Ms. LeGrand sort of had to pull together some different places where she saw the evaluation criteria, because none really existed, and it would give that opportunity. That's a process I've used in other authorities that I've worked with, and your executive committee is actually made up of the chairs of all of the standing committees and the officers of this committee. So just in proceeding forward informationally, I just wanted to let you know that I was going to recommend that process, and I will be bringing forward that amendment, which requires public proceedings, but not today. It would require us to proceed forward under our rules. But I just thought it would be a good way to see where things aren't working necessarily the way we like them to, and go ahead and proceed forward in a more deliberative fashion. So as I said, I put that in my memorandum, and I'm just informing the board that that's my recommendation, and we'll proceed forward unless somebody has any other comments on that.
Thank you, Commissioner Myers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to add the HR director to work with the executive committee.
Agree very much. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll just say that it's been a difficult process. We hadn't done it in years. We've been through a series of executive director CEOs for some time. In my 5 years on the board, I think I said there were, I have trouble counting them, 5 or 6, including a committee for a short period of time. And it's been very difficult. I went quite a ways back to look into HART records to try to find out when it and how it had last been done. And I think I arrived at a time, I thought I remembered a time during my tenure, which started in December 2016, that we had done one evaluation, but I actually, the one I found on record was earlier than my time on this board. So it was, we looked at how we can best do this in the future, and I think we were under some time constraints this time as well, and several changes, including me being the new chair of the board, not having been through this process, and as well as our other new attorney here and general counsel and others, that we have to kind of look through and find out how we need to do this and make sure that we have a smoother process in the future. So with that, I don't think we have any other comments at this time, and make sure that everyone's well noticed with backup in their agendas. And with that, at this time, do we have any old business? Any new business?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Before we go to the old business, I just wanted to point out, and I shared this with many of you during our one-on-one briefings, but the monthly reports have been restructured. So if you, when you have a moment, if you click on the monthly reports, there is, I would say, a table of content, if you will. So if there's specific areas that you're interested in, you can just click on that specific line item, and it will take you to that report. So please take a look, see if navigating it is a little easier. I have identified some things that I would like to change to make it a little easier as well. But the intention here is that it is a tool that you can go and use anytime during the month. You may be at a meeting and you want a stat on, on-time performance or a stat on customer service or COVID. You could just click on it on your phone or wherever it is and be able to go to that specific information. So please try it out. Let us know how we can improve upon it. But I did want to call that out to the entire board.
Thank you. Any new business at this time?
Madam Chair, just a quick comment. I was hoping that for the next meeting, Ms. LeGrand, we could have an update on how we fared during the legislative session. It'll be over on Friday, hopefully. And I'd like to be able to get a little bit of an idea how we fared and, if there's anything that we want to be able to think about. I know, I'm going to see if I'm going to guess what Commissioner Overman would say, that with the strategic plan, getting us working on that and getting that moving forward, it'd be a perfect opportunity to be able to incorporate whatever happened up in Tallahassee into that as well.
Madam Chair, may I respond? We'll
Yes.
definitely do that update. And I did forget to state, I know an email went out to the entire board about the American Public Transportation Association's legislative conference. I know that's a mouthful, which is occurring next week. I know some of you have responded back that you'd like to attend. And a part of that conference will be on a national level, getting an update on, where we are with the legislation for additional funding. And then also, what the engagement, I would call it engagement in the Ukraine, what those impacts will have on our costs. I know Director Schisler asked us to really monitor our fuel costs associated with this engagement that's going on in Europe. So we have staff monitoring that, but I'm sure that we'll get some more updates when we go to DC to hear more about what's going on a national level. And I'll close out and say this, in the transit space, when gas prices go up, usually ridership goes up. In most cases, that would be, something to be excited about, but as we heard this morning, we do have limited resources. So staff is looking at, if that does happen, what does that mean for our opportunity, I would say, to provide more service to those in the county and making it clear that we are here as an option to help, I will say, bridge the gap between driving every day versus using transit. So that's something else that we are taking a look at, trying to be proactive. But we will definitely be prepared to give an update both on the state and national level.
Great. And with that, seeing no further comments at this time, we stand adjourned.